Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And it's time for another top 10 list. Alrighty then, time to finish off this discography review once and for all and get this out of the way. Now I will have to admit, I don't consider Boards of Canada to be a particularly big force in my life for an all-time favorite, but I do know their place in history, and realize they are a huge force in a lot of other people's lives. And hey, they do have 2 albums in my top favorite albums of all time list, so there is that too. Now, much like I did with Deadmau5, I'm limiting this list to just publicly released tracks, so nothing from either Old Tunes tapes or the Random 35 Tracks tape. If you can buy it, it's fair game. And the usual disclaimers, as I say at the end of all my videos, it's all my opinion and you can feel free to disagree with it. I don't take a song's popularity into account, it's just based off my own personal enjoyment and nostalgia, and also none of these lists are final and only reflect how I feel right at the moment of editing it. Regardless, if your favorite song isn't on here, feel free to make your own list. And now, let's get right into this. The top 10 best Boards of Canada songs. Number 10. Alpha and Omega from GeoGaddy. This is definitely one of the most interesting songs BOC have ever done, even if not necessarily the catchiest. Between the hypnotic synth lines, the abundance of Indian elements like tablas and those weird flutes, and yellow, this song has a cool psychedelic vibe that I don't usually get out of them. Really the kind of song you can just get yourself lost in, even if everything slowly descends into madness as radio static envelops everything at the end. It's also one of BOC's longest tracks, clocking in at just over 7 minutes, but that length is well utilized. One of the highlights from GeoGaddy and a good indicator on how weird and demented that album can get. Number 9. Happy Cycling from Music Has the Right to Children and the Peel Session EP as well. On the topic of BOC's longest tracks, now this was one that I initially missed, as it did not appear on my version of Music Has the Right to Children, but when I finally got to hear it, I immediately wanted it to join the ranks of that album. The bouncy beat may be the only thing that makes this track sound particularly happy, but everything else from the minimalistic melodies, to the seagulls, to the vocal snippets, and especially the melody switch up around the 5-minute mark, make this a particularly memorable, moody, and immersive track from these guys that should not be missed. Number 8. Satellite Anthem Icarus from Campfire Head Phase. Now here's a song that is just great to relax next to the beach or something. Or not, since the song provides the beach sound effects for you in the beginning. But of course, it's not just that which makes this song work so well. It's the fluttery, psychedelic, and sunny synths, it's the slow but relaxing beat, it's the reverse synths in the outro that call back to songs like Triangles and Rhombuses, which also had an iconic outro. But especially, it is that guitar loop. The guitar loop got stuck in my head for quite a long time after I finished my Campfire Head Phase review, and this fact only made it grow on me even more. I saw some people call this song sad, and I mean, it's slow, but it very much makes me happy. Great song exemplifying the sound of a great album. Number 7. 747 from Warp 20 Unheard compilation. I haven't known this one for a very long time, only heard it for the first time a few days ago when preparing for the Odds and Ends video, but my god, I don't think there's ever been a BOC track that I loved so instantly. It starts out like a normal BOC track with a slow beat and fluty synth melodies, but suddenly grows into a size and spaciousness that I did not see coming at all, and almost calls to people like Tim Hacker and the future sound of London a little bit. If BOC wanted to make a track that felt like you were flying, I think they succeeded here. Number 6. Julie and Candy from GeoGaddy. I really don't know what to say about this one, but I love it. It's a song that's simultaneously creepy and personally uplifting. I don't know what it is about these dissonant flute loops and plodding beats, but this song just really makes me happy for some reason. And yet it still totally sets up the creepy mood that fits the rest of the GeoGaddy album. I don't know how to explain it really, but I love it and it well deserves to be on this list. Number 5. Dave and Cowboy from the Campfire Head phase. And here we get into the part of the list where the surprises start to disappear. Yeah, this track is the most popular track from Campfire Head phase, at least according to iTunes, and it's my favorite too. I don't usually like distorted guitars, but the beginning of this track still sounds great. But of course it's when those twangy western style guitars come in when this track really starts to become one of BOC's best. As well as the strings and the banging acoustic percussion. It might not sound anything like the typical Boards of Canada sound, but that makes it all the more memorable. Number 4. Aquarius from Music Has the Right to Children. I think this is the one track that best sums up the appeal of Music Has the Right to Children. The chilled out synth pads, the almost kinda funky beat, and of course the variety of voice samples from Orange to the kids laughing and saying, "Yeah, that's right," to the text-to-speech voices counting and then naming random numbers and even name-checking 6010. It's a wonderfully psychedelic sort of track. I loved it when I heard it for the first time, and it's never gotten old. Number 3. 1969 from GeoGaddy. I don't know if this track sums up the appeal of GeoGaddy in a particularly succinct way. I don't think any single track on that album is capable of that. But it is definitely the one track from that album that has most refused to budge from my brain space. The progression of creepy synth pads, the plodding beats, the mumbled and indecipherable singing in the beginning, and of course the one element that makes this track so difficult to get out of my head, the vocoder saying 1969 in the sunshine. Never has a year and weather pattern sounded so foreboding and yet so appealing at the same time. Number 2. Everything You Do Is a Balloon from High Scores. I've been trying to avoid the obvious choices, but that hasn't exactly worked out. If there's any track that best sums up the appeal of Boards of Canada in general, though, this would probably be it. You got some twinkly little melodies at the beginning that sound like they came from a different era of time, but then transitioning right into this big, comfy, fluffy pillow of a track with warm synth pads, moody melodies, and well, okay, there's not a ton of elements that go into this track, but its mood and atmosphere, as well as its melodies, are so well executed it doesn't really matter. It's the song that turned Boards of Canada from just another artificial intelligence style IDM outfit to a legend among IDM outfits. And before we get into my number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Ammo Bishop Roden from In a Beautiful Place Out in the Country. Turquoise Hexagon Sun from Music Has the Right to Children. Nothing is Real from Tomorrow's Harvest. Sunshine Recorder from GeoGaddy. Chroma Key Dreamcoat from the Campfire Head Phase. Rue the Whirl from Music Has the Right to Children. Palace Posey from Tomorrow's Harvest. Music is Math from GeoGaddy. Mlogex from High Scores. New Seeds from Tomorrow's Harvest. Kid for Today from In a Beautiful Place Out in the Country. '69er from Twoism. And that's enough of that. Now let's finally get into number 1. Roy G. Biv from Music Has the Right to Children. Yep, I'm aware this list has been predictable as hell, and I wanted to be able to pick a less blatantly obvious track for my own number 1, but I also had to be honest. Fact remains, this is the track that got me into Boards of Canada in the first place. There's not much to it, just basically like one warm synth melody that repeats a few times with an occasional kid saying, "Say," and fading out after 2 minutes. But that one melody has just always made me happy, and the one that rides the nostalgia factor the best out of all their tracks. Like watching the sun come up from behind a rain cloud and seeing a rainbow come out. Which makes sense given the title. There are lots more impressive tracks from BOC, but the one thing they've always done well that not many other bands do are these simple little interludes that have almost nothing to them, but hit that nostalgia button anyway. Not much else to say, it's one of BOC's most iconic songs, and for good reason, and it's my personal favorite BOC song ever. But of course, this is just my opinion, you can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.